Hello healthy smart parents. In this video I'm going to be telling you about 5 common mistakes parents make when teaching their kids to read that makes reading challenging and really slow for the child. Now without further ado, let's get into this video. The first thing that most parents do, which retards reading for their kids and just makes it a difficult journey for their child, is inconsistency. Sometimes you go online, you see kids reading and your mood is boosted and you feel motivated, and you go home and you start reading to your child with the books you have at home, and maybe you start practicing reading with them. And then after that day or a week passes and you've been consistent for about a week, and maybe your child is not showing as much improvement as you wanted, or maybe you just get busy at work and you just feel demotivated and you stop. With teaching kids to read, you have to be consistent, because with kids, they have so many things going on in their brains. They are learning so many things at once. They're trying to figure out life. If you're not consistent, they forget what they learned yesterday. So you have to figure out a way to teach your child to read every single day. Do something small every single day. And if you are trying to start teaching your child to read, or your child is struggling with reading and you're looking for the right tools for them, stick with me to the end, and I'm going to recommend something that is going to make your life teaching your kids to read really, really easy. Now, what's the second mistake most parents make? The second mistake is not building pre-reading skills. And there are 5 or more pre-reading skills that your child needs to have to actually learn how to read effortlessly, or with not so much of struggle. And I talked about these skills in my previous video, so if you want to know about them, so you can start helping your 2-year-old, your 1-year-old who can speak already, to prepare them to start reading, you can check out that video. But here I cannot really talk much about it. But one of the main things in those 5 skills is a love for books, reading and learning. Because if a child does not love to read, there is no way you're teaching them to read and it's going to be easy. It's going to be such a huge struggle. Now, the third mistake which most parents make is related to inconsistency, which is lack of review or repetition. A lot of times we as parents think that if a child needs you to repeat something so much before they get it, maybe it's because they're a slow learner. No, for kids, if you even listen to nursery rhymes and kids songs, you realize that we repeat things a lot, because a child's brain learns the most from repetition. So you have to repeat things over and over again for your child to learn how to read. Let me bring a reading example here. If you start teaching them sound A to maybe sound right, and you want the child to actually grasp that, you cannot teach A to D the first day and the second day you move to E to maybe F. No, the first thing you have to do is to repeat what you taught them yesterday, and maybe take that for a whole week to ensure that it's recorded in their brains and they do not forget. Now, another thing is lack of review. So you're teaching your child to read. How do you follow up to know how much they have learned, right? Keep going back to ensure that they have recorded what you taught them first in their brain. Like I said before, if you're going on to, you started with the first 4 letters and you're going on to the next 4, always start by repeating the first 4 that you taught, or the first ones that you've already taught, to solidify that knowledge in their brain, and review if they have gotten that in their brains, or they still need to learn it, or you still need to repeat it to them. So you need to have some way to review your child and constantly repeat what they are learning to ensure that they are actually learning, and make reading effortless, because they need to remember those letter sounds for them to be able to read. They need to be able to remember those reading rules for them to be able to decode words and read. Now, the 4th mistake that most parents make is unrealistic expectations. This is one thing that reflects itself in the kind of materials and tools that parents get for their kids to teach them how to read. You teach your child one day, you teach them letter sounds, and the next day you're bringing books which have such huge words and such complicated reading principles for them to read. No. When you start teaching a child to read, you have to go with simple 2-letter words, 3-letter words, simple 3-letter words. Usually not going with words which they are very familiar with. things like car, cat, sat. Those are things that they usually see in school, and a child might be able to read those things because they have crammed them. Try to create CVC words that make no sense. For example, you can take kept. It doesn't make any sense, but it teaches that child to blend the letter sounds that they have heard, right? Please let your expectations match where your child is. Do not expect what you've not taught your child, and give them a lot of time to practice before you start bringing some complicated books or some complicated things for them to read. Usually we see, when we go to buy books, we see these books where they say ready to read, and we think that is for beginner, for children who are just starting to read. But sometimes these books have words that the child has never seen, and if you've not built your child's confidence strong enough before you're bringing complicated words for them to read, you shatter their confidence and make them to be scared of reading. So reading does not look like fun anymore. It becomes like something that they should be scared of, something that challenges them too much, way beyond their skills. So you have to try to keep your expectations minimal. Challenge your child, but not challenge them too much so that they start feeling like reading is too hard. Okay? So limit your expectations and get the proper tools to teach your child to read. I said before that if you're looking for tools, we have an Apple Melon Mommy's Little Reader Kit that you can get for your child. We have a beginner pack which takes the child with letter sounds, blending simple words. We have the growth pack, which takes a beginner or the child who has used the discovery pack to a child who can actually blend words which are a bit complicated. They can play around with reading rules. For example, they can start to understand that sound air doesn't just make air, it makes e sometimes, right? So our growth pack, helps your child to identify those things and takes them a little bit further. Now, our premium pack has everything that your child needs to get them to start reading. If you are really serious about getting your child to start reading, get to us through the link in the description box and let's chat and get this pack, which has all the tools that your child needs to get them from a beginner in reader, or from a child who is struggling with reading to a child who can read fluently. Doesn't matter how old your child is. If you're willing to start with a child who is 1 year old who maybe can just speak and you want to invest in reading, that is good. If you have a 10-year-old who isn't still reading and you're in Cameroon, we can get this back to you for you to start that child's reading journey, because reading is a skill that every child should have, because it makes everything else in school and in life easy. Now, on to the last mistake which most parents make: speedy intervention. Please, we know that time goes so fast and that we do not have a lot of time in our hands to practice reading with our kids, but it is a child who thinks who learns. So allow your child room to think. You can get a simple word. For example, let me show you this book, Fred and Finn. Oh, you can see it, my lighting. Yes, that's it, Fred and Finn. And you show your child a word and say what sound does it make? And your child is there thinking about it, and you're like, is it not Finn? Haven't we seen this word before? Why is it that you cannot just get something at once? Your child was thinking. Give them the time to think. You ask them, what does what word does it make? And your child sits for a while and they are thinking. In their minds they are going oh, it's Finn. I'm actually giving you what could be going on in their mind. So please do not intervene so fast. Sometimes you stop your child's learning by intervening. Give them time to think, and if they cannot figure it out, like they're still struggling to get the 3 letter words to put together to make a word, do not hurry to pronounce it for them. Go one step at a time. What's this first sound? They'll say f. What's the second sound? E. What does f and e make? It'll be easier for them to say fee. Sometimes they can say if. You're like, no, it's not if. Look at it very well. What does it start with? What sound does it start with? You don't tell the child, no, doesn't this start with f? This is fee. No, you guide the child to be able to get the solution by themselves. Please, teaching your child to read and actually be a fluent reader is going to take patience. It's going to take a lot of patience. So if you know that you're not ready to teach them, take some time, calm down yourself and get into the mood where you can teach them, or get someone in your home or an older child who can teach them, and let them be patient with them and teach them how to read so that they can actually be fluent readers. There are so many more mistakes that parents make when it comes to teaching kids to read, and that could be one of the reasons why you are struggling so much with teaching your child to read. So if you want the part 2 of this video, write part 2 in the comment section, and tell us in the comment section as well which of these mistakes you have been making. Remember, the first step to solving a problem is looking at the problem and knowing where the problem is coming from. If you can identify the mistake that you're making from the 5 that we've said: number 1, inconsistency; number 2, not building pre-reading skills; number 3, lack of review or repetition; number 4, unexpected expectations, unrealistic expectations; and number 5, speedy intervention. Drop it down in the comment which of these mistakes you have been making that you think is making your child's reading journey slow, and would sure maybe make another video to tell you more mistakes which you can take out to make reading less challenging for your child. And thank you so much for watching till now. If you enjoyed this video, please do well to subscribe so you do not miss other videos like this, because on Apple Melon we are actually helping you raise healthy, smart kids who are future ready, and I know you want to raise such kids. So click on the subscription button and subscribe, and put on the notification bell so you do not miss another video. Until next time, let's keep raising healthy, smart kids. Bye.